Hello and welcome to another episode of Kyle's Kitchen. We have a repeat guest this week. Art Garnes is back because Art Garnes has a lot of time on his hands since he retired. How many years ago?
Boy, it's been 7 years already.
Has it really?
Gee, time flies when you're having fun.
That's right, because you were my first superintendent. Yeah, so that was pretty exciting. You were the superintendent when most of my children were here at the school. So now you're enjoying retirement. I know you are, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit. But you came to make, and you gave me 4 choices, and I could hardly decide. And we decided what we were making today based on our equipment, because you are used to cooking on gas and that type of thing and grills. But you're going to make German pancakes.
Right, and it's not like a German pancake, potato pancake. All right, it's something totally different. And it's an old recipe that my mom gave to me. And in fact, it has a little history on my side of the family, from not only coming from my mom, but the second date with my wife Cindy, I made her one of these.
Ah.
Yeah, because she wanted to get something to eat.
That was pretty bold for a second date to cook.
You know, well, Mom taught us how to cook, and we utilize it. It's really a simple recipe. What's nice about it is you can use it as a quick evening meal. It's also a nice dessert. It just has a lot of things to it. The original recipe, I have no idea where it came from. Mom cooked them for years, and we just got that. So it's very simple. So let's get started. Usually, you can have 3 or 4 eggs. I use 3. And you put them in. I usually set them out so that they get a little warm.
Room temperature.
Yeah, they seem to rise a little better. And if you use them cold, they still work.
Okay.
But we got to get them in here. Got to beat them up a little bit. All right, and we get them really good beat up so that it's nice and frothy. And then we add a half cup of milk. Okay. Now I normally make 2 of these at a time, so it's a little bit bigger.
In 2 separate skillets.
In 2 separate things, right. So we get this going a little bit. And like I said, it's very quick, very easy. And then we take a half a cup of flour. We're going to mix that in. We got to whip it up. Now here comes the hard part, getting this so it's nice and smooth.
Okay, no lumps in there.
Right. So I've tried using a beater, electric, and it just
does it make it too foamy?
Yeah, too foamy. That's a good way to describe it. So anyway, we get this all nicely whipped up. So you can see it doesn't take much preparation. Okay? Now we have to add just a little bit of, about 2 tablespoons of oil or butter. Now I use oil because I like to put butter on it when it's done. So we do a little bit of that. Let's get that nice and skimmed up a little bit here. A little dash of salt, just and we'll put 2 dashes in.
Is this a recipe your daughters enjoyed growing up?
Yes.
What about the grandsons now?
I haven't made them for the grandsons yet, but I will be.
Maybe they'll see it on TV and they'll say, "Grandpa, why don't you make that for us?"
Yeah, good. Well, Sunday meals at our house, I used to make this back when I was working. That would be my night.
You were the Sunday chef.
Yeah, I was the Sunday chef. So, okay, we've got our eggs, flour, a little bit of oil. Now we take, and I prefer a cast iron skillet. I do a lot of my cooking in
I'll bet with fish you do a lot of cast iron cooking.
We get this pretty well greased up. And the easy part is we pour it in. Now I've already preheated the oven to about 450 degrees. And the recipe says 450 degrees for 18 minutes. Well, every oven cooks different.
Right.
Okay, so I do it usually 450. I'll watch it regularly to make sure, because it will burn very easily. So we take our pancake, set it in here, and I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes to make sure we don't burn it. Okay, timer again. Oh, that's 15 seconds. That isn't going to work, is it?
No, it's deceiving. Okay. That actually is minutes.
Good. Mine at home would be
I know, it is different.
Okay, let's get this out of the way. Now, what I've done, typically, you would serve this with powdered sugar and lemon juice. That's the traditional way of doing it, but over the years I added a few things to it, and it seems to be a little bit better, and that is fruit.
Oh.
Okay, good healthy meal here. A little bit of fruit. So, and it can be any fruit that you like, and it doesn't have to be any particular kind of thing. It's just kind of an ad hoc addition to it, okay? So we got to.
But waffles with fruit sounds great. You know, blueberries, raspberries.
I make Belgian waffles with fruit a lot, and that's where I really got the idea. This, though, I really like just with the fruit and the maple syrup. And again, I've used canned pineapple, I've used canned mandarin oranges, I've used strawberries, I've used, well, today we
So depending on what the season is, you know.
what I got in the house. Right.
Okay.
So it's just kind of special. It also satisfies the sweet tooth, which is a nice part of it, because of maple syrup. And I use nothing but real maple syrup.
Let's talk about your maple syrup.
Okay.
Where do you get your maple syrup?
Well, actually, a friend of mine makes it, and we've been making it for, oh gosh, I can't say how long, 25 years or more. He has a sugar woods that he goes out and collects the syrup in the woods. We used to carry it out in 5-gallon buckets. And if you haven't carried 2,000 gallons worth of water out of the woods in the mud and the rain with, that's the experience. Anyway, now it's all tubed and it drains down into a tank. And then we take it and then we actually use wood and boil it down. And it takes about 40 gallons of water to make 1 gallon of syrup.
1 gallon of syrup.
Right.
Wow.
And it only runs in the near the end of April, end of February, and into the first part of March, and maybe the second part of March. And when the trees start to bud, then the sap just turns real dark, and it's not a very good thing to eat. So we're going to use a banana. But anyway, it's almost a social event anymore. He made 100 and...
So this is Mr. Mel, right?
Yeah, Mr. Jim Mel.
Because his daughter was in our class.
Emily. Emily was in
and
your
Emily
program.
would bring in that for us to sample the syrup. I have. Now, is this syrup that you brought today from this year's batch, or is it from another year?
No, this is from last year's. No, this is actually from 2 years ago. Last year was a really bad year.
And why was that?
Because of the weather. It got warm too quick and the buds came on.
Oh, okay.
And I think we only
changed the whole flavor of it.
Some gallons. This year we made 131.
Wow.
Gallons.
Okay.
And, but it's good maple syrup, and he sells it.
Does he sell it at shows, like craft shows, or just by word of mouth? And people come and...
We have a bunch of us that sell it for him. People ask for it. We have a list of people who are
regular customers.
And
because once you start using something like that, you can't go to Mrs. Butterworth's.
Yeah, the corn syrup just doesn't have it. So anyway, so we have a lunch of fruit here, and we get that done.
So you were mentioned earlier, before we started taping, that something about your brother and working at Hillcrest, and he cooks too, huh?
Well, actually, I'm a cook. My older brother's a chef.
Oh.
He's a retired minister, and he's cooked for years, longer than I have. I never had time to do a lot of cooking, but he cooks what I would call gourmet food.
Wow.
Okay, me, I'm a good, solid cook. I don't get into a lot of the more complicated things. He is unbelievable pie maker.
Huh. And that is so unusual. I think it's even unusual that in a family to have two men of our age that are interested in cooking.
Well, there's a story behind that too. Mom, who I got the recipe from, she had 3 boys. And she was bound and determined that her boys would be self-sufficient. So we had to learn to cook, iron, do laundry, the whole 9 yards.
Wow, what a package.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, it's so simple to do. And I've really enjoyed it over
And
the
you
years.
have to enjoy it, yeah.
And since I've retired and I have the time to do it, I enjoy even more. Yeah, I do about 2/3 of the cooking now because Cindy's still working. And she still cooks because she's an excellent cook in her own right. But it's just one of those things. Mom, you know, grew up in that era where the woman did everything. Okay, and she said, my boys are going to do this. And so
she was ahead of her time, huh?
A little bit ahead of her time. Okay, so now we have our fruit done. What we'll do now is we got to wait about another 9 minutes for that to cook, and then we'll check it. And you got to check it often because in different ovens it'll burn. And if it burns, it does not taste good at all, obviously. So we're going to watch it for 9 minutes.
You think that a convection oven would be the best thing for this type of a dish, correct?
I'm getting convinced of that. You know, it's just like the cast iron. I love cooking in nothing but cast iron because unless you're buying a really, really high quality, heavy duty aluminum pan, the Teflon and the stuff that's on them, they don't cook.
No.
They don't cook. And this is actually a pan that I got handed down to me from my mom.
That's where mine's from my grandmother, my cast iron skillet.
Well, I'm sure that's where she got hers. So what we'll do now is we'll finish this. We're going to watch this, and you'll be in for a surprise.
And now it's almost ready. It cooked for about 15 minutes.
15 minutes or so.
And now we're ready to show you, and this is pretty exciting, so let's take a look. That is not what you put in there. That exploded into something bigger and better. Yeah, yeah.
Now it'll fall a little bit when the cool air gets to it. But you immediately take it out of this,
Okay.
And if you grease the pan well, which I think I did, we're going to swing it over here to this. Whoa, that's warm. And bring it over here for the final touches.
All right.
Okay, so now I like to put a little butter on it. Like I told you, I don't use the butter in the recipe itself. And again, this was traditionally served with butter, powdered sugar, and lemon juice. And we've added this. Whoa, just a little bit of fruit to make it a little more colorful.
And again, like you mentioned before, we can use any kind of fruit we want, whatever you have at the house or whatever.
And it's best if you use real maple syrup. So we'll put a little bit on here, just around the edges, not quite on the...
Look how thick that is. That looks so good.
Well, this is a dark amber. It's very flavorful. Just a little bit in the things.
Okay.
And then to top it off a little bit. And voila, dinner.
Okay. Look at them all smiling. They're excited about this. They're very excited about this. All right. Well, now we get to try it in the test kitchen. So let's take it over there and give it a try.
Okay.
And we are in our test kitchen today with Tyler, Dale, and Ashley, all willing participants. We didn't need to beg anybody to try this. So this is our finished product. Our whipped cream's fading a little bit, so we need to serve this.
Let's get this going.
Move this around.
Have any of you ever had anything like this? I know I haven't.
Never. No. And it looks delicious.
Okay.
I think the fruit is what makes it look really, really good.
Well, it has a unique taste to it too. All right, so we'll get a couple of these. Use my elbow there. Okay, let's go this one. Did I get enough of it? Yeah, we'll have to get you some more fruit here.
And Ashley.
Like I said, if I were just eating this on home, we'd probably just be picking at it. So let's do a little more fruit for her.
Oh, thank you.
A little more for you. All right.
All
there
right.
you go.
All right. Sure looks delicious. Anybody want to pause for a minute and tell me how it tastes, Tyler?
It is really good. It's like if you would take like a pancake and a fruit salad and just make it together and awesome. It's like that.
Is it a little bit chewy too?
The bottom has a different texture than this light flaky upper part, and that's the part I like to take and rip off and rub in the syrup.
Rub in the syrup, yeah. What about the syrup? Can you guys tell a difference in that kind of syrup than what you probably usually use at home?
It tastes more rich. Like it has a more rich flavor.
Good answer.
Very good answer. And that's true. I mean, because they substitute corn syrup a lot in your commercial things, and this is just pure maple syrup. In fact, it will actually, over time, if you don't keep it refrigerated, sugar down and make a maple sugar candy.
Oh, wow.
Which is nice to chew on, but really sweet.
All right, Dale, you haven't been talking yet. What do you think?
It's really good. It's sweet. I really like strawberries and bananas. And
you do or you don't?
I do.
You do, okay.
And I like how this is like this is a little bit different than the bottom. The bottom is a little bit less chewier than the outside is. So I mean, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be getting my syrup up with the outside.
And didn't it look relatively simple to make, you college kids, for next year?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Me and Tyler will be in the kitchen every Saturday morning with this.
Look what we learned in high school.
I think it would also be a really good dessert too, like really good as a dessert rather than just a breakfast food.
Yeah.
Well, if we added some sausage in there, it'd be a little heavier meal for you.
I'm gonna go home and make one with vanilla ice cream in the middle.
Oh, that would be really
Oh,
good.
now that's a thought. That's a nice adaptation.
Maybe add a little chocolate syrup.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming back, Art. And I know we'll have you back again because you are full of interesting recipes. And thank you guys for being in the test kitchen today. And if you'd like this recipe, it is on our website. And we thank you for watching our show and supporting Channel 11.